Hello everyone, it's Evans Racing here and welcome back to our F1 2022 mud career as Kevin Magnussen in the Formula 1 Haas car, where here today we'll be going around the circuit of the Americas in Austin for the American Grand Prix. So without anything else to do, let's jump straight into qualifying. So now we'll jump to our outlook now, where we're coming through the last couple of corners. Now we're coming into the last corner. DRS open, flats, foot all the way down. We're going to speed things up. We're coming through the first corner. Using all the carbon on the insides for all these corners. Cutting a little bit of that corner there, but I didn't get a corner cut there, luckily. DRS opens, flat down on this very long straight, braking heavy into the first corner, now coming up into double right hander, and then now into the double left hander, and then into another double right hander, and we carved us the cover a little bit, using a little bit of car on the entry and exit, and we got across the line for a 1 minute 34.8. And now we come on to our second and final qualifying lap. We'll have DRS open in 6th gear now, and we're going flat out till the first corner. Braking heavy, just hitting the apex, gaining a lot of time. We've gained almost 1/10 out of that corner alone. Now coming through this little, like the fast corners, well, medium speed corners, using all the cover on the insides for all these corners, just missing that sausage curb in the middle, and again here. And now we're going flat out, not cutting that corner this time, going quite wide here, taking a wide entry and going narrow, flat out now on this very long straight with DRS opened. Qualifying is now complete. We see ourselves currently in P11 at this moment of time. We've got a personal best sector 1, and we're going to come through this corner now, just hitting the apex, losing the rear end a little bit, having another green sector 2. Now coming through this double left hander, just missing the apex, using all the cover on the outside. Now using a little bit on the inside there, going really wide here, cutting through, cutting the corner a little bit, going really wide here. We do exceed track limits, but we don't get penalised for it. We go really wide here, we go across the line for a 1 minute 34.2, I think that was, or something like that. So this is today's starting grid for today's race. We've got Charles Leclerc, who's on pole, with Sergio Perez alongside him. Then we have Carlos Sainz, Lewis Hamilton, Verstappen, Russell, ourselves Magnussen, Gasly, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Valtteri Bottas, Esteban Ocon, our teammate Mick Schumacher, Zhou Guanyu, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Sebastian Vettel, Alexander Albon, and then Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi. So this is our strategy for today's race. We'll be starting on the soft compound tyre, and we're going to go on to the medium compound tyre around lap 6, providing no safety car or something else happens. We're going to take some fuel at the car to make this car as light as possible. And now we'll go to the 5 red lights. And off we go for the American Grand Prix for 2022. It's a decent start by us. We're going to go right around the outside of both Mercedes drivers. We're going quite wide on the exit, but we have overtaken 2 drivers into 1 corner. So we're up into P5 now. So it's a great start by us, and we're going to slot in behind Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. And now we're going to our onboard now, where we are chasing after Carlos Sainz, as there's already a gap between a second between us. We already locked up our tyres coming into this little hairpin here. We're going flat out now, using a bit of ERS so we can catch up to the car in front. Braking heavy about the 100-meter mark, just using all the carbon on the inside, taking a wide entry into here, braking heavy into this corner, just missing the apex, almost losing the rear end, but we keep it under control. Now coming through this right-hander, this triple right-hander, and then now we're just trying to gain on Carlos Sainz. We go quite wide there, but we don't get a warning for exceeding track limits, luckily, which is good. And we're still chasing after Carlos Sainz. There's a gap between 1.1 seconds between us now, so Carlos Sainz is slowly getting away from us. Doesn't help when we don't have any ERS with us. We come through then onto lap 4 now, where we just lose the rear end a little bit there, but we keep it under control. And as you can see on lap 4 now already, we're already 3.3 seconds behind Carlos Sainz, and it's only been 4 laps. So we just don't have the pace to be fighting with the top 4 at the moment.
Gap to the car in front is 3.6 seconds.
Now we're coming through this corner using all the carbon on the inside for both. Cutting the corner a little bit there, ERS been deployed, we've got 66% ERS left. Coming into the hairpin now, hitting the apex. Flat down, flat all the way down, foot all the way down till the very end of the straight. And now we switch over to where Yuki Tsunoda is trying to make a move on Alexander Albon, and he's made the move done before the corner, and that's Yuki Tsunoda up into P15 and Alexander Albon down to P16, with the DRS making with Yuki Tsunoda making very good use of the DRS. Now we're coming through the last corner now for the end of lap 4 and the start of lap 5. So we're coming through the first corner now into the little hairpin here, using all the carbon on the inside, actually going over using a bit too much there. Using a little bit on the insides of all these fast left rights. Now coming through this corner, going a bit wide there, getting a bit of understeer. And now we're going flat down till the next corner. And now on lap 5 now, where Max Verstappen is trying to make a move on his teammate Sergio Perez. They go wheel to wheel into the hairpin. And it's Max Verstappen who makes the overtake, and he goes up into 2nd place. And Sergio Perez goes down to 3rd place. We switch to our onboard now, where Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion, is trying to go around the outside of us, but we're going to break much more later. We're going to use the racing line, and we're going to push him out wide, and we defend our P5, and we stay in P5 for now. So now we're coming through the last sector now for the end of lap 5 and the start of lap 6. And now we come on to lap 6 now, where Hamilton's trying to have another go at us. We brake very late, we lock up our tyres, we go quite deep, which leaves us vulnerable to Hamilton overtaking us. We take the inside line, we're going wheel to wheel now, and we're going to get the better traction and the better exit, and we stay in P5. and Hamilton stays in P6 and he just can't make the overtake, and we're making it hard for him. And now there's a gap between ourselves and Carlos Sainz. The gap between us is now 7.7 seconds, just after 6 laps. And now we come into the pit lane now to fit on our new set of mediums. And we come in and we don't speed, which is good. But we seem to be the only ones coming in this early to fit our new set of tyres. Another slow pit stop from the Haas pit crew, another 3 seconds, but it could be worse, but we'll take it. Well, we're going to have to take it, but we're going to have to fight on now. The next person we need to overtake is Latifi, and we go quite wide on the first corner because our tyres are a bit cold and we need to get some warmth into the tyres. So, yeah, we got a bit of understeer through that first corner. And now we come on to the start of lap 8, where we're about to overtake Hamilton. He's just come out the pit exit. We're going to go right around the outside, the long way round, and we're up into P13. And we overtake Lewis Hamilton, who just came out the pit lane. And now we're chasing after Nicholas Latifi, who still hasn't pitted yet, or Lance Stroll, but he's the closest one to us by 1 second, well, just under a second now. And now we've got Lewis Hamilton, who's trying to make a move on us now. He's going to have DRS on us, and we won't. We push him out wide as much as we can. Try to avoid any contact, and that's Lewis Hamilton up into P13 and ourselves down to P14. There's nothing we could do about that, nothing we could defend about it. He just had the better slipstream and the better straight line speed there. So there was nothing much we could do to defend our position. The only thing we can do now is to try and re-overtake and regain our position. And now we come on to lap 9 now, where George Russell has come out the pit lane and he is ahead of us. So the undercut has not worked, which means the overcut was the best strategy to do. Which isn't ideal, but hopefully we can overtake Lewis Hamilton as early as possible and catch up to the Mercedes driver, to the other Mercedes driver. And we have DRS now on Lewis Hamilton, and we're going to fly past him down the inside. We're going wheel to wheel now. We're going to overcut quite a lot, and we go up into P6 now, and Hamilton goes down to P7. So a good move from us, using that DRS to our DRS and ERS to our advantage, and diving it down the inside to gain that position. And now we are chasing down his teammate George Russell. And now we come on to lap 10 now, where Max Verstappen has just overtaken Charles Leclerc on the straight with DRS, and that's Max Verstappen who is leading the American Grand Prix for 2022. And now we jump back to our onboard now, where we see a gap of 1.8 seconds between ourselves and George Russell in front. And now we're chasing after George Russell still, gaining as much time as we possibly can. Now we come on to lap 12, now, well, to the end of lap 12 and the start of lap 13, where, as you can see, we just don't have the pace to catch up to George Russell in P5. And there's a gap of 1.8 seconds, so it hasn't really changed much, but we haven't gained any, but we also haven't lost any, so we just don't have the pace to gain that extra little bit on him. Now we're coming through these fast corners here now, using all the curb on the inside there, and then all of it on the inside here. Braking heavy into this little hairpin here, just missing the apex, going a bit wide here, using all the curb on the exit. In fact, using a bit too much than we would have wanted, and And now we look at Pierre Gasly, who's just made a move on Lewis Hamilton with DRS, and that's Pierre Gasly up into P7 and Lewis Hamilton down to P8. So a really nice, easy move for Pierre Gasly on the 7-time world champion. And now we come through the last few corners of lap 13 now, where we see a gap of 2.4 seconds. So we are losing quite a lot of time to George Russell in front, which is not ideal, but nothing we can do. There's no pace in the car. I'm maximising the car as much as possible.
This is your final lap of the race.
Using a bit of ERS on this straight here, even though we've only got 10% of ERS left. We're going to come into the hairpin here using auto curb on the inside and on the outside. And then for these next high speed corners, we're using auto curb on the inside to gain as much time as possible. Braking a little bit for this corner. Now into the next corner when you just want to miss the sausage curb a little bit. Just missing them really small sausage curbs so you don't unsettle the car or get any floor damage. And now we switch over to the last lap now, where Sergio Perez has just made a move on Charles Leclerc. And that's Sergio Perez who has a nice easy move, and he moves up into P2 now. And Charles Leclerc goes down to P3. And it's Max Verstappen who's coming through the last corner now, getting the power down as early as possible. And now he comes across the line, and it's Max Verstappen who wins the American Grand Prix. His teammate Sergio Perez in P2 and Charles Leclerc in P3. And that sees our podium finish for today's race. And now we switch to our onboard now, where we're coming through the second to last corner. Now going flat out now. Now coming through the last corner, using all the curb on the inside here, getting the power down as early as possible. And we come home in P6 for the American Grand Prix. So it's a decent result from us, and very good fighting throughout the whole field. And it's Max Verstappen who gets driver of the day.
Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they secured here.
So it's Max Verstappen who wins the American Grand Prix. His teammate Sergio Perez in second, and Charles Leclerc in third, which sees our podium finishes. So some really good fighting, some really good wheel-to-wheel battles going on. And now we look at the driver standings, where we see Max Verstappen continues to lead the championship with 382 points, and then Carlos Sainz with 281, which sees a gap of 101 points now, which is a very, very big gap now between them two. Further down, we see ourselves still ahead of George Russell. We have 124 points, and George Russell has 120 points, which sees a gap of 4 points between us. And if we look at just ahead of us, we have Lewis Hamilton. He's only 10 points in front of us, so maybe we can even get P5 for this championship. Then further down, we see our teammate who is still in P11. He has 25 points now. And now we look at the constructor standings, where Red Bull continues to lead with 647 points. The Ferraris with 536 points, which sees a gap of 111 points between them two. Mercedes still looking comfortable in P3, and ourselves still looking comfortable in P4. So that is it for today, guys. If you have enjoyed it, please do give it a like. Please do subscribe down below for more racing based content, and I will see you guys in the next round for the Mexican Grand Prix, where hopefully we can beat our teammate once again.
Summer.